part two of two. So yeah, I'll talk more. We'll go into this and connecting connecting everything and connecting palms to the feet and that feeling of fullness. And we'll look a little bit about the folding and just practice some stepping. So the legs, rooting, rooting the legs, right? Relaxing, and all of these things. Sometimes you have to practice just heavy, heavy, heavy. So if you take a breath, right? So like I said, the first thing is letting go. So take a nice breath, just relax, and then just let everything go, and then expand. Let everything expand through the spine. Let the heels lift up, then slowly come down. Then feel with the palms, right? Drop the elbows, let it come in close and sink, and then start to rise. And just let the hands rest on the side of the legs. So we look first at, we'll get back to heavy legs. Look first at when do you start rising? And so instead of talking about, oh, you rise when your hand is here, or your hand is here, or this height, this height, this height. I want you to look at rising, right? When I say rising, standing, when you decide it's the right time, right? Or then you feel like, oh, this is where I need to do it, or this is when I want to do it. So as the hands fall, right, and you feel like they're guiding the balloon. So sometimes we say, um, sometimes the imagery is like guiding a ball down in water, right? Just the weight, right? You want to be like this, elbows down, shoulders down, and it could just be the weight of your hands, but they have to expand, right? They have to expand a little bit and activate, and just guiding that light, light, light resistance. So if you're coming down, right, you're sinking, right? We're sinking and letting go at the same time. You could stop the movement, but you still have to be relaxed. And when you relax, it feels like you're still kind of sinking. But when you rise, right, that first part of rising, right, the hand really doesn't drop, right? It kind of equalizes. And that's that feeling where if I'm coming down and I want to stand, I can use my hands to rest on something to help support, right, and then rise up. So it could be this height, right? It could be it could be this height, right? I could be coming down, and right here I decide, oh, I want to start rising. So I have to have that feeling like I'm compressing a little bit more, right, and holding that, and then I'm rising from there. It could be this height, right? It could be this height. Mm. So what I want you to do is have that feeling, or that full feeling, right? So you study what that feels like, right? You're coming down, and let's say right over here we decide we're going to stand. So as we stand, we fire the muscles, right? And we kind of flex a little bit. And just as we get ready to expand, that's the feeling you're looking for. And come down, relax, and then, oh, I'm gonna stop, and you flex the muscles, and everything feels full, right? All the muscles expand a little bit, and that full feeling, and then that feeling like you're going to press down on something while you're rising, and then everything gets full. And you could either come up more and then sink, or we could just kind of hold it right there and support, and then let the hands fall. So if the body starts moving up, that full feeling, the hands are compensating by moving down, right? Or they're both, if the body's rising, right? If you look at the height against the couch, right? If I leave my hand at that height and I want to rise, I start rising, my hand really doesn't move, or it just presses a little bit, sinking a little bit, but not like that. It, it just that everything flexes and gets full. And if I want, I can flex right in this muscle a little bit, just a little bit, expand the palms, and that's when I rise. So that's that feeling you're looking for. Okay? Where we're starting to empty, but just the palms are guiding that ball down. And at some point, I decide I'm going to lift my sternum, I'm going to flex and expand everything, and that's when I rise. Just let the hands fall. And if we're doing the form, just let them rest on the side of the body. Right? And so it's not here, it's not right in front, it's kind of that 45-degree angle. We're just let it fall right into place there. Okay? So giving a lot of meaning to everything, right? Everything having a purpose, preparing to begin. You can touch the ankles. You could touch in between the knees too. So the kidney point is around the ankles. So as we take that breath and let go, as we come down, it's easy to touch those points to stimulate the kidneys and stimulate the rise of chi and energy to the body. Right? So letting go, and then expanding, and just thinking how that stimulates the kidneys and maybe even the liver, and expanding up, and then letting everything drop, the shoulders, the hips, and then turning, dropping the elbows and guiding the palms. And then when you're ready, lift the sternum and you start to rise and have that full feeling. Everything's connected. And as we rise right here, press the knees back a little. So we stretch the back of the legs and breathe in and then, ah. So we build in that practice of unlocking just enough by breathing in. At the same time, flexing, flexing the knees back. Not hyperextending, but just stretching so that you can feel the whole back here stretch. Breathing in and letting go and ha. So we also practice ha and having that feeling of just dropping and letting go. Right? So that first part. Okay? So if you're looking at me from the side, right, I have to take a breath, expand, just open up my throat, let the lower belly expand, and then let go. Right there, I decided I'm going to start rising. Press the knees back a little, breathing in and ah, let everything go. All right. And then from there, immediately we start practicing letting this turn. So if we're doing the set, right, the set begins with the feet 45. That means we have to drop a little bit lower. So if we open this way, right, so we're going to open your left foot first and then your right. Right? So we're going to open your left, that side, open that side. So the rule is if I want to move, pick up or move this side, right, I have to shift and I have to turn. So from here, right, I'm down a little, and shift your weight to your right, and then release this, let it fold and let it turn. And then you can feel this, the bottom of the foot release, and then you can just swivel that foot 45. And then I have to shift to this side, and same thing, let this turn. This leg releases, and then it can swivel. Right? And then I can come back to center. I can rise again, breathe in, and ha, and that's my perfect height. Okay? So to get in position for the sunset, right? So we're coming up, we're flowing the chi down, and you decide when you're going to start rising. That whole full feeling, stretching the back of the legs, and and then shift to the right, and then let this turn and fold. So the left foot can open, and then shift to the left, let this turn and fold. So the right foot can open, and then come back to center, and rise again, gently rise, it stretches a little bit, and because the feet are turned out, we don't want to go all the way up because the feet are angled out. Go all the way up, it's going to put too much turn and twist. So just enough to stretch, and then ha. And that ha is finding that perfect starting position. So we're really studying from the beginning, right? You have to let this turn. So I let my whole body turn in the beginning. That's the beginning step. The intermediate step is we still turn, but we don't let the body turn as much. And then the advanced step would be this will still turn, but I'm relaxed and still looking forward. So the body turns a little bit. The upper body will turn less and less. So now there's a spiral coming out. But the first part is you have to let this turn. So just follow. Even if I'm looking this way for now, I want you to let this turn. Right? And, and we're still focusing forward, but let this turn, let this go. Learn to let this go, to take away that stress, to stop forcing the muscle to expand into the knee. Okay? So from the first position, we have to shift and then step back out. So we think of the so-called rule. Right? If we want to step up with the left, we want to free the left, we have to shift to the right, your right, and then we have to let this turn. When you let this turn, you release. The heel will pick up, right? And then you can pick it up and just unfold. Just keep everything here, let it unfold, and then shift. If we want to pick up that leg, right, we have to turn and let it fold. As we let it fold, the heel picks up. Then we can pick it up and just unfold and come back to center. And if you look at your feet, they might not be exactly lined up, but pretty close. They should be pretty close as long as you stay in here. So I'll face my back to you. Right? We'll start from the feet 45. We're going to shift to your right and then let's turn, fold into here. So the heel will release and then we can pick it up. Stay in this right hip and just unfold and find the ground. Small step. And then we have to shift to the left. We have to turn into the left and let it fold. And then the right heel will free up. So just pull it straight up. Relax the right leg, small step, and then step and center. And you should feel the muscle here starting to work. Not the whole leg grabbing everything, but starting to concentrate in here. So try that one more time, or just from here. So shifting to the right, letting it fold into the right, the left picks up. And as you sink and let go all the way, then you can free the left foot, small step, and then shift, and then turn into the left hip until the right is free, and you can pick it up without rising and unfold and come back to center from there. Okay, so first lesson, letting go, and then learning how to fold. So to walk, the message is, right, to learn how to walk and shift to the side, you have to let this turn. So understanding this joint is the first lesson. Once you understand this joint, then we can turn whichever way you want. The upper body can turn. But we don't want to fight this joint. We want to let it turn and sit on the joint. No. What if we do Yang style? Okay? So Yang style doesn't start like this. Right? We can still prepare. The Yang style would just open up from here. So this would be for all the Qigong, basically everything else. Right? It's still the same thing. It's just that Sun style is here and everything else just one step. So same thing. Right? We want to, in general, you're going to notice everybody steps out with their left, with your left. Right? So if we're starting from here, right, same thing, we're gathering, right? We're doing that preparation, push the knees back, sink, and you decide when you're going to rise, right? Feel everything get full. Just drop the hands at the side, push the knees back, breathe in, and then, ah. And we're going to shift to your right. And same thing, to pick up the left, we have to turn and sink and let it go. And then the left leg can pick up, just holding this turn, and then the left leg can open. And then we shift back to the center, right? And then rise one more time, breathe in, push the knees back, and ah. And then now we're ready to begin whatever the Qigong is, whatever that set is. Mm. The same principle, but just which way our feet are turned. Right? So with my back facing you, right, I'm going to step out, and that's the beginning. Right? So breathing in, letting go, ah, gathering, letting the heel lift a little, and then sinking, dropping the elbow, guiding with the palms, and you decide when you're going to start rising. Sternum is up, the body gets full, and the hands just rest on the legs. Breathe in, push the knees back, and ha. Shift to the right, and then let it turn and fold into the hip. The left is free. Everything has to sink into the right for you to step freely with the left. And then you can shift back and center. Okay? If you want, right? I would come up, press the knees back, breathe in, and then let everything go. And then you begin from there. So practice, you can practice that stationary, right, where it doesn't matter left or right. Right? If we just look at the legs just for a few times, and then we're going to add the hands. So you shift, you want to pick up this leg, we're going to step. So you have to relax and let it turn. You're going to feel inside here get really, really strong. Right? Just holding all in here and step, and then coming back and then shift to the other side. Want to pick up this leg now, so we have to let this turn, relax the upper body, right? So it can pick up, and then we'll step back and just going back and forth. So we can just do this in place, relax, let it turn. And when you pick up the leg, you have to resist that temptation to rise and muscle. You just have to stay in that stance, and then the other leg will be free. Right? So shifting, let it turn. Right? Just commit to this. Right? Just keep it relaxed, keep it all into here, and just go back and forth. Or if you want to step in, right? You free up that leg. You can take a step. That's like the one solve, the cloud hands, and shift, and then let it fold, sink, let it fold, so this leg is free. Then it could step out. Shift, right? Turn, let this fold. As long as you sink and relax, this leg won't have that tension, right? You'll be able to pick it up. But then we want to add the palms. So if you keep your hands at the side, you see this in the Kung Fu, open or close, but they'll do a loose fist, And come back to the center and do a loose fist, and you keep your hands here during the movement. Let it turn and fold. You can pick up, you can step in, or you can step out. You can do it in place, so you can walk, whichever one you want to do. Let it turn, let it sink, and shifting, really listening to this fold, sink. You keep the hands at the side. When you keep the fists here, you can feel how the upper body doesn't help to pick up the leg, right? So now you open the palms, and expand and stretch the palms, right, as you're doing the movement. So you go from closed, but then you expand, relax the shoulders. You have to really relax the joints, but just expand the palms. And if you're relaxed enough, you feel that this helps the movement smooth out a little bit, right? It's not quite so physical with the legs. Right? But then if you allow the hands to move, so we come up, let go, sink, and then connect, and then bring the hands up. And it's like the hands are resting on something right now, like they're resting. Just relax everything, expand the palms, and listen and feel, right? Like they're resting, like you have a rail, there's columns that you can just lightly press on. Right? So, like sinking and stepping, right? And the hands are just resting, and this hand can help to pick up this leg. Still have to commit to folding. Right? Don't unfold until you're ready. And the hands can help to pick up the leg and smooth out the movement. So shift, I have to let it fold, let it turn. It's either in place or stepping. I have to let it turn. And as I sink, my hands can move up and down. So as the hands moving up and down, that's the one saw. It doesn't matter which way the hands are moving, it's activating the palms, right? Helping them to pull or set the legs down. It can be the same leg, it can be the other leg. Yeah. It can be turning. If you turn and relax, just listen. Right? The hands will almost move by themselves. They'll tell you if you just move the hands, what feels right. And that circle, that ball, holding the ball will start coming out. Yeah. So relax all the joints, just moving up and down, setting down. If I turn side, right, as I'm turning, the hands move together. The hands move together. Relax. And you don't have to overtly make hand movements. You just feel. And so it's like if I had let's say you had like a walking stick on two hands, right? But it had maybe hydra, it would just move up and down lightly. You don't have to press hard. It would just respond. And so as you're moving, right, you can, it would just be lightly holding it, just that light support and that compression. And you can feel two sides, and this could go up and down and up and down to support. So connecting the hands with the legs. If I step out here, from here, if I step out here, right, I don't want to just be front here. If I pick up my leg and I'm just front here, right, it's a real physical muscular movement. But if I let this turn, let my body turn, let the joint turn, right, and then I pick up my leg, this leg is lighter. But if I don't turn, I still fold but I don't turn, I can feel this muscle really flex, like the whole thigh flexes, and I don't use my hands. It's very physical, right? I'm just holding this in place, foundation, and pick up the leg. But then I relax, I let it turn, right? I can feel those muscles grabbing inside, and then the hand, as I pick up, this leg gets lighter, and then I use my hand to help pick up the leg and bring it back in, and then set it down, right? And hold it in place. Yeah. So in the Tai Chi, right, hand and leg work together, moving. You still have to learn the movement, of course. What is it doing? Where is it going? But as you start just moving and concentrating on letting this fold, the hands will start moving by themselves. You just start thinking of where you want your hands to. Okay. Okay. No, I was talking about heavy legs. So real interesting practice that I think everybody, I think it's just a um, part of the progression of learning and developing your body is the rooting, understanding rooting. So rooting is exactly what the word says, rooting. And you want to think of a large tree, right, where the roots are just sinking into the earth. They're not grabbing, right? Although we think of, oh, the roots are grabbing the ground. Really, if you think of what it is, it's a living, right? It's a living organism. So the roots, it's not that they're grabbing, it's that they're expanding and they create a network inside in the earth. And the deeper they are, right, the more stable the foundation. So our rooting, the way I'm doing it, is you think of your legs like heavy, heavy concrete columns, right, just going down. Imagine like each leg is like 1 ton. And if it's just sitting there, it's just going to sink, pressing on the earth. Not because it's forcing itself down, just by sheer weight. So as you stand, you come up, right, and we shift and we open, breathe in, push the knees back, and then and try that again. Breathe in and let go. Practice letting go. You just feel that thud and let everything go. Right? And it takes a while. You really have to practice just letting go. So you're not, you think you're letting go, but you're actually holding on. You can feel pushing away. Right? So from that position, you have to relax all the muscles, all the joints, everything. You open your toes, they're resting on the ground, and you just imagine heavy, heavy, heavy legs pressing, sinking into the earth. Right? Imagine you standing on mud. You're sinking, pressing into mud, just sinking into the earth. And it's not by flexing the muscles and tensing, it's just by imagining and making them feel heavy from there. Just making them feel heavy. Any tension up here, right, is going to pull the muscle and prevent the muscle from sinking and expanding. So in some ways, you might have to feel like you're pressing, expanding the muscles into the earth. Hmm? But you want to learn and develop that heavy, heavy feeling. Okay? So if we do, let's start from our Sun style. Right? So our feet are here, and we do the first move, right? Second move, rolling, and third move, open and close. So just keeping your feet here, right? Without the stepping, just think, right? Breathe in and right? Just breathe in. Ah, the hands at the side. Just imagine, let it go, let everything go. Right? Let all the tension go and take heavy, heavy legs sinking, pressing into the mud. Heavy concrete columns pressing into the mud, sinking. You have to relax and let it go. The more you let go, the heavier the legs can feel. And then start expanding the hands. Just focus on that heavy leg as you begin commencement. Heavy, heavy leg. Just keeping the legs heavy, sinking. So just take your times with the hands. Every movement, the leg is heavy, heavy, heavy. This is how we want to root. You have to relax the legs and let all the tension go. Going to go on to the next move. So you turn, and only the hands. The legs are just heavy, heavy, heavy. Single whip. And if we stepped, we will bring the hand back in, right? And then out. And heavy, heavy legs. And come back. Closing, still heavy, heavy legs, letting go. Heavy, heavy legs. And take a deep breath and relax. Go down, let go, and then come back up. And then move the legs around. So we're connecting hands and legs, practicing that heavy, heavy hands. Why is my hand? Why does my hand raise? That's so funny. Weird. So you have to practice heavy legs, right? Stationary while you're doing the hands, or even not doing the hands, but practice heavy legs. And then we want to take that to movement. So heavy legs while we're moving. So let's just practice, right? We're just sinking and just practice shifting from here. And just keep your hands here. Get that heavy legs again. Heavy, heavy legs. Relax. Let everything go. And then sink to your right. Right? So your palms can activate, but heavy, heavy leg now. Just folding, but heavy, heavy leg. The other leg is zero. Right? And then shifting. And then this leg is emptying. Heavy, heavy leg. Folding. Heavy, heavy leg. Right? Turning, letting go. Heavy, heavy leg. Pressing, sinking. This one is nothing. And then you shift. Let it turn and empty everything into heavy, heavy leg. So just practice simple stepping with that concept. Okay? And then we put it into the set. So loosen up first. We'll start from the beginning. So ankles touching. Take a nice breath and let it go. Rising, gathering. Knees back a little. Stretch the back of the leg. Decide when you're going to rise. Hands resting at the side. Breathing in. And then shifting to your right and letting the body turn so the left foot can open 45. Shifting to the left, let your body turn so the right foot can open 45. Come back to center. Rise. Stretch the back of the leg a little bit, not all the way. And sinking, think heavy, heavy legs, concrete columns. Let go of all the tension in the thighs, the hips, the knees, everything. Just let the legs sink. Take a deep breath before we begin. Let it all out. Expanding the palms. Shifting, picking up the hands, heavy legs. Both legs heavy. Sinking, shifting to the right. Right foot heavy, sinking. Left foot free. It's free to step while the right foot is heavy. Now start shifting, flowing all that heaviness into the left leg. The right foot is free to step up. When you center, both legs are heavy. Single whip. To pick up the right, we have to shift to the left. Fold and turn into the left. Now the right foot can tap in. Now we can turn back to the right. Left foot is heavy, heavy, heavy. Okay? Now the right foot can step, and now we can flow and transfer a little bit to the right and open. Okay? Both right leg is a little heavier. We want to free the right leg, so we have to shift to the left, and we have to turn to the left. We fold into the left foot. Left leg is heavy, heavy, heavy. Then the right leg is free. And then one sound. Shift to the right, so the right leg becomes heavy, left leg is free. Fold into the right. Let the joint fold. Pour everything into the left leg, heavy. So the right foot is totally free, and then you can step. Then you can transfer and pour everything into the right. Let the right hip fold. Fold into the quad. One more step. Come back to center. And close. Now decide when to rise. Shift the weight back to the right. Fold and turn. So the left foot is free and it can step back in. Come up. Press the knees back a little bit. Just a little bit. And down. Let everything go. And decide when to rise. Press the knees back one more time as you breathe in. And ha. Okay. So you practice this heavy, heavy legs, it's going to change things in your body. It's going to change your concept. Um, it's going to force you to let go and relax. Because if you tense, you can't be heavy. But you really have to let go of everything. Right? Bottom of the feet flat. Practice it stationary. Practice it just a little bit stepping, and then practice it in the form from there. Okay? So connect the hands with the legs. Right? So if I tie up my hands and I pick up my leg to step, it's really physical. But if I relax, right, and I activate both palms, let everything go, just the palms, sink and fold, right, turning. When I pick up the leg, they'll follow, right, and then I can turn and step. Right, and then I can use this hand to kind of set it down. This hand stabilizes, and then switch. Right? This hand stabilizes, this hand flows, picks up the other leg. Forward, back, right? Side, right? Rising and come back to center. Okay? So every movement, you want to make every movement valuable. So everything you do has a purpose. Everything has multiple purpose. So you don't worry. You decide which purpose you want, and you're training everything at the same time. But your focus is, of course, on one or the other. All right, loosen up the leg. Yeah. And then we'll end with the bell meditation. Yeah. Okay. Miss Chin, come and sit down. We're going to end class. Yeah, take a nice breath in. Just wiggle everything out. Get everything set. Sometimes you need to do it several times. You go ahead and do it several times if you don't feel comfortable enough. Relax the throat, relax the chest. Feel the lower belly expanding and relaxing. Just let the whole face, let all the muscles just drop and relax. No expression, but smiling from the heart area. Sun in the sky, flowing energy down through the top of your head, feeding that sun in your chest. Smiling from within. Bottom of the feet relax, legs falling. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Slowly open your eyes. Rub your hands. Move your feet around. Warm up your eyes. Brush your scalp, just the fingertips. Front to back, center to outside. 3 times. Unroll the ears. Top to bottom, just gently pulling, taking your time. And just pull the muscles away from your neck. Just the fingertips hang your elbows, your arms straight down. Move your head side to side, back and forth. Just your fingertips massaging the side of your neck, up and down. Okay, cupping outside, top, inside, underneath 3 times. Start from the shoulder and work your way down to the fingertips. 2 sides here. Loose wrists. Your kidneys. Oh, you can do the rib cage too if you want. But kidneys, back of leg, side, top, inside. Pull the heels up again. Do one last stretch for the bottom of the feet. Pull the heels up. Spread the toes. The upper body relaxed. Oh, I can feel the tension. To go from 5 classes a week to one. Oh, everything gets tense. The back of my legs, because I'm doing the stretching of the back of my legs. Oh, the back of my legs are so tense now. You don't do anything, there's no difference, right? When you do something and stop, there's a big difference. Yeah. Okay, so Sung, relaxing. Yeah, the more I study, Sung is really number one principle. And the first thing we do, right, you take that breath and let it go. So first lesson is to let it go. First lesson is not to gather the chi. First lesson is ha. So ha, right? Hawaiian's the breath of life. Ha, natural sound. Ha. The the story, right? Somebody comes up to the teacher, says, "Oh, teacher, I want to learn from you. You know, you have all the knowledge in the world. You know, please take me as your student." Teacher's like, "Oh, come have some tea." Yeah, and while the student is blah 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 blah, teacher's pouring the tea, pouring the tea, pouring the tea. It's like, hey, my cup's overflowing. Says, "Yeah, how can you learn anything? Right? You gotta empty your cup." So that's the story, right? That's the story that goes with it. So again, same thing. Before you can learn, you have to empty, let it go. So mentally, physically, emotionally, right? But when you come in with all your knowledge and you're teaching the class, you're not listening to what it is you came to learn. Right? You still have your knowledge, right? You don't get rid of it, but you have to make room for it. So, ah, right? Learn to let go. And that all goes with Sung. Okay? And then physically, learn this joint first. Just just let it turn, let it bend, let it fold. And then while you're moving, just stay in that row. Don't expand while you're picking up the leg. You have to just sink into that. And once you understand that joint, then you can start turning different ways and you can start changing the form without losing this fold. But you feel that stability. You feel how one leg is just free. So sinking into the hip joint, right, will free up the other leg. Using your hand will help to pull that leg up. Yeah? And then learn to connect hand and leg. Like when are you going to rise? Right? And it's not hard. It's just that connection and that full feeling. So yeah, there's so much. That's why it's lifetime. It's like you say, kung fu is life. Kung fu, study it for life. It's all about life because kung fu is not about fighting. The Taichi, all that. It's not about fighting. It's your own development. Yeah, the fighting applications, that's the fun stuff. That's play, yeah? Playing with each other and stuff. But when you play and it turns into fight and aggression, oh, it's not fun anymore, right? Then you have to like, cut it out. But when you're just playing and manipulating, there's a lot of lessons in there, right? There's humility in there, right? Like, I'm always getting bested. It's okay. What do you have to do? You have to practice and improve. You have to let it go. And once you let it go and keep on practicing, then you cultivate, right? Yeah. That person who's better than you, if they keep practicing, right, then they're always better than you. But at some point, you can start catching up, and then sometimes you can surpass them. But that's the game from there. All right. Last time, expand. Nice deep breath. And right hand, left hand. Your right hand, your left. Okay, thank you.